We all know what this is. This is an octopus. But what about these? Octopuses? Octopi? Octopods? You've probably heard or read all of these at least once. Octopus seems to have as many plurals as it does legs. So which one is it? Hi, I'm Kyle from Excel at ESL.com. Today, let's go on a journey through English history as we examine the story of the word octopus and its voyage into the English language. Octopus is unique among English words because it has multiple plural forms competing against each other for plural supremacy. This competition has been going on for over 150 years. Why is the plural form for such a simple word so controversial? The answer lies in its history. The word octopus has taken a long journey into English. In order to understand why, we must understand this history. Originally, octopus is an ancient Greek word, octopus. But English did not receive this word from ancient Greek. It actually comes into English through Latin, octopus. Latin has had a very close relationship with the English language. Over hundreds of years, Latin has contributed a lot of vocabulary into English. These contributions started before English even existed. When the Roman Empire was still around, parts of the British Isles were a Roman province known as Britannia. Naturally, as a Roman province, the inhabitants of it spoke Latin as a lingua franca. The close contact between Latin and the Germanic languages of Britain and the surrounding areas led to language exchange. The influence Latin had on these languages was passed on to English. Today, we have words such as camp, butter, devil, pillow, cook, wine, street, fork, and many others thanks to this period of language contact. The next major influence Latin had on English was through one of its daughter languages, French. In 1066, the Anglo-Saxons were conquered by the Normans, who spoke Old French. During the Norman occupation of Britain, thousands of French words were borrowed into English, such as beef, armor, dungeon, squirrel, lizard, and hundreds of others. Latin's influence on English has continued until the present day. Throughout these hundreds of years of contact between English and Latin, the word octopus has been borrowed into English through Latin. So even though the word octopus is originally ancient Greek, English has received the word through Latin. This crazy historical journey has led to the many competing plural forms we have today. So let's explore plurals in more depth. The most common way to form the plural in English is to add an S. Dog becomes dogs. Frog becomes frogs, and so on. If a word ends in CH, SH, S, X, or Z, we add ES to the end of a word to form the plural. So fox becomes foxes, and quiz becomes quizzes. Frequently, words that are borrowed from Latin follow Latin plural rules. So in order to understand where octopi comes from, we'll have to talk a little bit about Latin grammar. Now don't be scared. By the end of it, you'll be glad that you speak English instead of Latin. Latin is a highly inflected language. This means that the words in Latin change forms often. If you know any other European languages, you'll be familiar with this concept. Many European languages have words that change forms depending on their grammatical category. When nouns in Latin change category, this is called declining the noun. Latin has 5 noun declensions. Each one has 12 different forms. Wow, imagine having to remember all that. For example, the Latin word oculus declines like this. So you might notice that the plural form of oculus is oculi. This looks awfully close to the pattern for octopus, right? Octopus, octopi. Other English speakers thought so too. So the plural octopi was initially very popular in English. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, octopi was the preferred plural for the word octopus. Makes sense, right? Latin words ending in US have a plural I form. Wrong. It may surprise you to find out, but in Latin, octopus has a completely different plural form because it has a different declension pattern. So if the whole reason for the plural form octopi was due to Latin grammar, that theory is thrown out the window. Not only is the word octopus not Latin, it doesn't even have that plural form in Latin itself. Not even the Romans thought the plural of octopus was octopi. This phenomenon where speakers correct a word into being ungrammatical is called hypercorrection. It is the same thing that happens when someone says you and I instead of you and me, even when the latter is the correct thing to say. This brings us to the even more obscure plural of octopus. Actually, it's a completely different word altogether. That word is octopod, or octopod. This word was cooked up by academics and intellectuals who had a good grasp on ancient Greek and Latin, but not on the speech habits of regular people. As a 148-year-old news article tells us, some educated speakers in the 19th century got a bit hot under the collar over the widespread use of octopi as a plural of octopus. But, as the octopus grew and multiplied, it became necessary to speak of him in the plural, and here a whole host of difficulties arose. Some daring spirits, with little Latin and less Greek, rushed upon octopi. As for octopuses, a man would as soon think of swallowing one of the animals thus described as pronounce such a word at a respectable tea-table. In this condition of affairs, we are glad to know that a few resolute people have begun to talk about octopods, which is, of course, the nearest English approach to the proper plural. Octopods never really caught on, though. There was a brief spike of popularity in the early 19th century, but it quickly died off. Common English words tend to receive common English word endings. This is especially true for words borrowed from other languages. The word octopus isn't especially scientific or technological. It's just a word for an animal. So, it makes sense that the common English plural marker has grown increasingly popular over the past 100 years. Despite what you may think, English speakers like regularity in their language. It's the reason why the plural for chief isn't chieves, for example. English likes to give borrowed words the regular plural form unless there is a good reason not to. It makes sense. Who wants to remember a bunch of arbitrary plural forms? Just look at octopus. There's been intense debate over the proper plural for over 150 years. So, words that come into English usually get the regular plural form. It happened to octopus near the end of the 19th century. As Latin slowly lost relevance in people's daily lives, less knowledge of Latin, and even less knowledge of ancient Greek, meant more people analyzed octopus as any other English word. Thus, in the 21st century, the most common plural of octopus is octopuses. That was a brief history of the many plurals of octopus. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps a lot. For more interesting and exciting content, check out my website, excel@esl.com. Bye for now.